Hello everyone. This week we're going to talk about sampling. Sampling is the process that we use to select participants to be in our study. It is also the process that we use to assign participants to groups in our study. It is important to recognize the difference in what I said there. The first step is selecting participants to be in our study. The second part is assigning participants to be in groups. You should know the difference between these two things. As a part of this lecture, we're going to talk about the importance of sampling and why we use specific sampling techniques in our research. We will also talk about the difference between the sample frame and the study sample. It's important that you know the difference between these two things. And then finally, we're going to talk about non-probability design and probability design. The difference between these two design structures is randomization. It's important that you know this difference. Probability design uses a random process in its sampling. Non-probability design does not use a random process. There are multiple different types of both non-probability and probability design. You should be familiar with these types. As a part of the final exam, you will be asked to differentiate between these different types. And in your thesis or project, you will be asked to select one of the types of design for sampling in your study. Again, remember, everyone who has participants in their study will use a type of sampling selection, that is, choosing people to be in your study. Some of you will have groups, and if you have different groups, you will use a type of sampling design for assigning people to those groups. At the end of this week's lecture, there is a link that takes you to a website that will help you calculate the sample size that is needed. I encourage you to play around with this website and to see how many participants you would need in order to have a specific level of confidence. I provide that information to you at the end of the lecture. In this week's discussion, if you want to, please tell me the maximum number of people that's required to have a sampling with a 5% margin of error at a 95% confidence level. Everyone should get the same number if you use that website. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks.